executive board position, but he's not the president.
That's you. To be a very major member of the society.
Kaplan may be like your number one guy, your right-hand guy, your guy that goes out and does all the real work, but you're the CEO. You're the president of the Charger Hate Club.
I take such pride in that. That's
I was a little
so
surprised
important
to hear
to me.
Yeah, I was a little surprised to hear it in the promo. It's not a bad question. We can have that conversation
By
today.
the way, is it necessary? Really don't need people to tweet me after Chargers win saying, "Hey, Chargers won." I understand that. I'm
Do you get
watching.
a lot of that?
We all have. Yeah, I get lightning bolts. I'm like, okay, I got it.
Pretty funny.
I understand that. I understand that they won. I have Google.
I think at the very back of your heart, you probably want to just kind of dip your toe back in the water.
That one is so nice.
It's great. Superchargers.
That one is so nice.
It's great. But that's the
San
Diego Chargers.
I know.
Yeah. I should become a Charger fan just to troll you. But it doesn't quite
You're
work.
good.
Like that.
You got the Rams.
Yeah, no, I love the Rams, and I am a Rams fan, but I do like to just kind of twist it in a little bit. That's a good way to do it.
Love TCU.
Yeah, see, exactly. Now you're starting to get it. This is great news. Damar Hamlin has shown, quote, remarkable improvement and has, quote, demonstrated that he appears to be neurologically intact, which is just awesome. That more news coming out that his lungs continue to heal, that he is still very critically injured, and they're continuing to monitor all these things. But for the first time since Monday Night, Al, we got some really good news this morning. You woke up, you look at your phone, and he'd opened his eyes. He's able to squeeze the hand of people that are in the room with him. So some really good news for Damar Hamlin.
Read a quote here: moving his extremities with some form of purpose, and if they're able to understand basic commands, that's kind of the definition of neurologically intact. Mm-hmm. Man, that's amazing. That really to. I think we all kind of waited for this for a couple of days, and it's not like we have any idea what the hell's going on. We're so accustomed to getting information right away, and here we are on Thursday. Game was obviously on Monday Night Football, and to get some of this information today, was awake, able to grip hands of family members, remarkable improvement. Every single one of those just kind of brings a smile to your face, and that's amazing. Look, we know that it's going to be a long road and everything else that comes with it, but just to have that portion.
Yep.
Imagine. I mean, I can't imagine, but just that's just amazing news to hear.
Look, that we're getting some good news. I think we can say some other things maybe out loud that we were scared to say earlier in the week, that there might have been extensive brain damage, that there may have been some situation where he was alive but maybe being kept alive by machines and these sorts of things, and you just didn't know, and that's what was so scary. Like we talked about, your mind, at least mine does, tend to wander to dark places, but that you hear this, that he has shown remarkable improvement, that he is able to respond to basic commands, that he's neurologically intact. This is terrific because we'll see what happens next, but just knowing that he's able to understand commands, that he's able to squeeze hands, that he's been able to open his eyes, that he appears to have neurological function. These are the first steps to being able to ask the next question of, when can he leave the hospital? Will he be okay long? All of those sorts of things that maybe some of the greatest fears that we have, at least in the short term, and at least for today, have been kind of tamped down a little bit with the news. And it's funny, guys get hurt playing sports all the time. Obviously, this is a very different situation, but I kept finding myself refresh, even days after it, hoping that some news would come, and this morning it finally did. Just fantastic.
It's amazing news, and hopefully as we get to Friday and we get to the weekend and there's more positivity that comes out, but just from where we were, obviously on Monday night to where we're sitting today, I think a lot of people I'm sure got a smile on their faces.
It felt like we were going to get the worst possible news for a long time. It felt like you were going to get that terrible, sinking, sour feeling, and just
why is nobody saying anything? Why is there no reports?
We got some good news, just great. So if we get more good news, we'll pass it along. And knocking on wood right now, if we get any sort of news, we'll pass that along as well. You must have had a pretty good time last night. That was kind of fun to watch.
It's basically a party.
Thomas Bryant and Dennis Schroeder putting on a show. Who doesn't want to watch that?
Can I say I was on, just like you would do with the Rams. You go on with Sedano and Cap. So I do that with the Laker games as well. And I wasn't trying to be negative, But George was like, look, anything can happen in the NBA. Like, it happens. Anything can happen. I'm like, George, I get it. I understand that. He's like, look, the Thunder put up 150 points the night before against the Boston Celtics without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm like, listen, I appreciate all this positivity. They don't have LeBron and Anthony Davis. What are you talking about?
Or Lonnie Walker.
Or Lonnie Walker, right?
Who's their third best player.
These are key pieces that you obviously don't have. And the game just starts, and it's like, all right, what are we, halfway through the first quarter? And it's like, all right, it's 13-12. And by the time first quarter ends, Wenyen Gabriel hits a corner three right at the buzzer, and Lakers are up 9. I'm like, all right, well, hey, if you can just make it a game, make it interesting. The place is sold out. You know, everybody thought they were going to see maybe a Bron versus old team Miami Heat. It was so awkward because as the game went on and the Lakers continued to stay in it, the crowd was like, well, what the heck is going on here?
Well, yeah, should I? It's funny.
You're almost waiting for, all right, at some point Miami's going to take over the game.
Sure.
Miami's going to take over the game. I know the Lakers are 4 games below 500. I know they're 12th or wherever they are in the Western Conference.
How dare you?
Are they?
They're only a game out of 10th, Slee.
I know a game out of 10. But there's some. I think Minnesota's in front of them. Okay.
Minnesota has the tiebreaker. Tied for 11th. How about that?
Dang, to say Minnesota has a tiebreaker for 11th is, I don't think I've ever heard that one.
Doesn't really fill you with a ton of warm fuzzies.
Well, they lost on November 27th against Minnesota. But just to see the, I guess you can call it, just to see Laker fans really appreciate a crew that you're not expecting to win the game. It was a hard-fought, gritty battle. I don't know if you saw, if you're watching the game, not watch. Dennis Schroeder turns his ankle in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
John and Mike are like, well, he's done for the night.
Right.
Goes over to the sidelines. Darvin Ham's like, man, I'm going to take you out. He's like, can you just leave me in? Just give me a second here. Let me see if I can go. It's a nice, gritty win for the Lakers, and you would have thought at Crypto that the crowd was cheering as if Bron and AD were there.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to be dramatic about it. It's just a nice win against a team that you didn't think you were going to beat.
It was interesting. Obviously, you were in the building and experiencing it a little differently than I was watching it at home by myself, which we'll get into a little bit later on in the show today.
It's very interesting.
I have decided that I am not good live-alone person. I've been living with other people for way too long. I am not good on my own. That will come up later in the show. But I think you might remember better than I do. Maybe
sleep on the floor.
No, I'm sleeping. That's the problem. I'm sleeping way too much. It's
nobody to talk to.
I don't even turn on the lights. They probably think the house has been abandoned. We'll get to that later. Maybe 5 or 6 minutes to go. Oladipo hits a 3 that put him up like 6, maybe something.
Yeah, 6.
Rough. And at that point, like, all right, here it comes.
That's when I left the arena.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah.
And then, not quite yet. Do I turn it off? No, not yet. And then they win. It was one of those, you kept waiting for Miami to hit a couple of buckets in a row and kind of put the thing on ice.
Yes.
And it never really happened. They end up taking the lead. They end up, not relinquishing the lead. And it was fun. And it was, I told Emily this morning. I'm struggling to figure out how to say this because I don't know exactly what my thought on this is, but it's oddly interesting to not have those guys there. It's oddly interesting to watch a team that is made up of guys that were signed to league minimum deals mostly, or guys that clearly they were not interested in having, guys like Russell Westbrook, put together a game that is competitive, that is exciting, that is well played, that is in all of those things. And not that you're not better with AD and LeBron, obviously, but it was a very different feeling as opposed to, hey, is LeBron going to be able to pull our ass out of the fire? Is AD going to be able to go get 40 tonight? It was a basketball game. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a parade of a star trying to drag a bunch of stiffs to a win. It was a real basketball game. It was a very different game to watch last night.
And they won, right? Because I think a lot of the situation was, if they lost by 4 or 6 yesterday,
we're not talking about it right now.
Well, and I would have done the post game and just kind of said, hey, you know what? They battled. What are you supposed to do? You didn't have your guys. The fact that they actually kind of cashed it in, I thought was, obviously
with the guys
nice
they cashed it in with, in particular Bryant and Schroeder, who looked like very capable NBA players.
Do you remember this? 2 seasons ago, Dennis Schroeder. The reports were he was offered 4 years, $84 million from the Lakers. Turns it down. And kind of became, and I hate to say it this way, kind of became the laughing stock of the offseason. Because the offseason came, and no one was offering him anything. He ended up signing with the Boston Celtics. It was the mid-level exception.
For a fraction of what he was
like
offering.
$5 million.
Yeah.
I think that's what he ended up getting. It was a mid-level exception. By the way, how about that? Like I make it sound like it was just $5 million.
By the NBA standards, that is the right way to say it.
I gave up. I'm betting on myself. 4 years, 84. It kind of goes down in flames with the Lakers, and then he ends up signing that mid-level exception. The only reason why he got some opportunities this year, they had the Euro Championship in the summer, and I guess Dennis Schroeder was killing it. Germany got third place. This is with Spain and Argentina. Some great international teams. So I only point that out, or Spain and France. I only point that out because he's had 2 games where LeBron and Anthony Davis don't play. He put up 30 in one, 32 in another. I'm not telling you he's Isaiah Thomas. I'm just saying it's nice to see a guy that's kind of rebuilding a little bit of what he used to have, and we'll see if there's some true value for him later on.
All right, so I know that you guys want me to offer some dad advice here and there on the show, and I'm happy to do it.
Why did you tell me you want to call it daddy advice? Why?
It's not true.
Why did you say that?
Emily, I agree with you.
I kind of like that.
Nope,
yeah,
nope,
I mean, and I was thrown off.
We're definitely not calling it that. But I didn't think that
Taylor
just
likes it.
merely you saying it would put something into the universe that would make it happen as quickly as it has.
Okay.
Something happened yesterday. It's going to sound like I made it up, and it is hand to God 100% true. We'll do it when we come up next.
Yes, and I have some special things for this dad advice segment that we're going to sprinkle in the next segment as well.
I don't think it's called that.
It's
not
called
never going to be called
that.
what you said. Don't say it again.
She needs to
You don't have to
correct
worry about
herself.
me. You don't have to worry
Chris
about me.
already
It's
made a
coming up.
promo.
It's Travis Lee.
What is your 2023 New Year's resolution?
Well, I could lie and say that I want to do something like get more organized or get in shape, the classics. So I'll take a more reasonable approach to be maybe this much more patient.
It's the same as last year. I want to cut my weight from 205 to 190. That is the dream.
I think I want to be kinder, right? I feel like sports gets me so amped up.
To be able to wrangle the guys, I need to lose weight, man.
Whose year will it be in 2023?
This is a very simple question. Year of the Dodgers.
The year of the Trojans. That's right. The best quarterback in all of college football. The Heisman Trophy winner. The reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams. I think USC, national champions.
It is Shohei Ohtani's year. Either he gets traded or he signs a $500 million contract somewhere, hopefully with the Dodgers.
My year. Oh, you meant a team? Dodgers? Hopefully?
Whose year will it be in 2023? I don't know yet.
What is your hot take for 2023?
The Cavs are going to the NBA Finals.
UCLA football is going to the college football playoff next year behind Dante Moore. Let's go.
My 2023 hot take? Okay, you ready for this? The Lakers this year, forget about it. Next year, year one of the post-Brody contract, year one, Lakers win it all. That's hot.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Cap. I'm up here in Mammoth. It's cold. It's loud. But you know what's interesting is when you come up to a place like this, everybody's got a Subaru because active